Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Joseph Ryder Anderson podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Anderson, and today we're going to be taking a short break from Union Arena, and we're going to be talking about the Gundam Card Game. I went to my first ever Gundam Card Game event last night for the new type Rising Booster Pack launch event, and I had a fantastic time, and I actually managed to get second out of 17 players that night. Having only played the game actually once before, so that was pretty exciting. The format is absolutely fun, so if you're considering going to a launch event, definitely go. They give you 4 packs. You also get this really cool, I don't know if you can see that there, this really cool box, like a deck box thing, which is super neat, and you get some promos, so definitely worth going. And they give you 4 packs, and you get to build a deck of 30 cards from those 4 packs. And that's excellent. Not only does that put a lot of pressure on you to make really tough decisions around what cards go into your deck, and it also creates a lot of potential for creative ideas that you can try out. Having only 30 cards in your deck makes it much more likely to get certain combos off than if you were having to build like a 60 card deck the way you do in Union Arena. So I really love the way they did this format, and would definitely go to a future event. So we're going to be taking a look at my second place deck that I put together. I've recreated it in the builder on Bandai. So we're going to be taking a look at the deck that I used to get second place as well. And I think the important thing here isn't necessarily going to be that you're going to build this deck, obviously, because you're going to be getting your own packs if you go to one of these events to build your own combos, your own decks from. But I think what is really helpful here is you're going to learn the keywords to look out for that are really strong in this format. You're going to be looking at some of the methodologies behind your deck building decision making. You're going to be learning about how to look for key synergies between your random cards to build a deck. And then we're also going to be talking about some of the ratios. And I think that's really what's going to be helpful to get out of this this video. And then we're going to talk about even some of the combos I was able to pull off. So let's go ahead and dive into all of that now. So this is the deck that I've recreated here, and let's go ahead and start with some of the ratios. And I think that these ratios really felt right. First of all, I think it bears mentioning the shields. So if you get shields in your packs, unless if you get, I don't even think it's possible to get too many shields. So I'm just going to say the shields you get, you should probably put in your deck. The shields are just going to really help you facing down your opponent and give you a strategic advantage, especially if your opponent didn't draw very many shields. So I drew 3, which from my packs, and that felt decent. I often had a shield to play. I got at least 1 or 2 shields out of my life area or shield area when they were with that handy burst effect. They come in deployed. So I put all 3 that I got from my deck or my pack straight into my deck. In terms of effects, I don't think I really use their effects much. So in a weird way, this one, the underground desert base, actually ended up being the handiest with 6 health points. Even though it doesn't have an effect, I just didn't have really the cards I needed or the scenarios I needed to really use the other effects much. This one I never used. The 13th Tactical Testing Sector, I never actually got that off because it requires having an Academy unit in play. And then the side 7 actually was decent. You get to heal a friendly unit by 1 HP. So I think I did use that once. But again, they're mostly here just to protect your shield cards from getting taken out too easily. So that's the first thing I would recommend. I'd also really consider putting as many command cards in as possible. I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 command cards, which felt perfect in this deck. I got a couple more command cards that it was hard to choose to not include them, but these are the ones I went with. And some of them are just crazy strong, especially in this format. So, I mean, you could go on and on about it, but first of all, you're definitely going to want to put in these draw commands if you get them. Overflowing Affection, super strong draw card. We have a Show of Resolve, also very strong. Although I actually probably find the Overflowing Affection better. It's just a little easier to get that cost off than this one, than the a Show of Resolve. But later in the game, a Show of Resolve can be really, really handy. And then this one was a kind of a fun one to pull, which is the First Contact, which is like your ramping command. So this is really strong. I definitely was able to pull off at least 1 win, maybe 2, by having this, by using this and being able to play some of my bigger guys, which we'll get to. That's super handy. This one, the stealth stratagem, is handy early on. I used this once to get rid of an enemy unit before my opponent could build up a stronger battlefield. So this is helpful to kind of take out some of those smaller units. And then we have the Fortress Defense, which lets you play 2 unit tokens, which is great. And then you get to also have this crazy strong, I'm so glad I included this in my deck, the crazy strong Extreme Hatred. And we're going to talk about some fun combos you can pull off, even in this format with this command card. So there's 6 of those. I only ran a few pilots. I think a bunch of these command cards, or a couple of these command cards are also pilots, but I only ran a few pilots prioritizing the link synergies. So my strongest pilot was definitely this Lynx guy. I could use him to link with a couple of different cards. So I did have 2 Unicorn Gundam, and this was the strongest, or at least the most reliable link. And the cool thing about this Unicorn Gundam is that when it's destroyed while it's linked, you get your pilot back to your hand. So you can just keep recycling that pilot, which is really strong. And then actually the Shamblo can be linked. And I did this in 2 different games. It might sound crazy that I was able to pull that off in this format, but definitely do not scoff at the big boys in this format. They can be very, very strong. I wouldn't go too heavy on them, but having 1 or 2 of them can be really, really handy. And then I also did manage to get this Marcinus character, or pilot, this Marcinus pilot, and he does link with 2 of my cards. The Lodo 2-cost, the 2/2 Lodo can be linked, but the stronger link is definitely the Stark Jagan, which, because as repair, will further boost the AP benefit you get from linking. So that was outside of the ratios. That was the core thing that to help choose between the different kinds of cards, was what cards can be linked, and that definitely was a priority. I also noticed that this Extreme Hatred, the Loney Garvey pilot, can actually be linked to the Shamblo as well. So I think this card is so strong, you're not really going to want to do that, but in a desperate situation, you can do that. So definitely that was sort of the primary thing I was looking for. I figured that the linked keyword would be the strongest play in this format, and I was definitely not wrong. So I prioritized that with my deck building. Let's look at some other ratios that helped. I will say for this second place deck, I did not have any issues having a unit to play by turn 2. By turn 2, I went first every single battle. A lot of people were choosing to go second because you get that handy EX resource, but I went first every battle. By turn 2, every single battle, I had someone to play, which was definitely really a solid way to stay ahead. I had 3 of these one cost, 1 level units. The strongest of them was probably the Mistral. You can pull off a lot of combos using this Mistral, and if your opponent's running cards that bounce to the hand, a lot of times they'll have to choose this guy and give him back to you, and I was able to recycle him a couple times just because of that. And then there is this handy DOP. Well, not as strong as the Mistral, this DOP unit does let you look at the top card of your deck and put it at the bottom or top of your deck. And this, because you do actually have a decent number of draw. I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but your Lynx unit, or pilot, your Lynx pilot, when linked, lets you draw a card. So you do get a decent amount of draw. You have some other draw effects. So if you play this first and then use one of your draw effects, that can be a good way to either get the card you want or try to get the card you want. And then I ran about 5 of these 2 costs. So I felt like the 2/2s were kind of the backbone of this deck that really helped keep it consistent. The 1/1s were just the 3/1s. They're handy utility cards, but really the 2s really helped me a lot. There's not a lot to say about them because for the most part they're pretty vanilla, other than this Lotto, which we already talked about. And then the other really strong one is this Duos Leo. Do not underestimate this card, and if you get this card, definitely put it in your deck. The Duos Leo lets you attack or choose an active enemy unit level 2 or lower, and you can attack it. That's so handy early in the game to gain board dominance. That is just so strong. So you use that to gain board dominance early. Definitely include that unit. The other unit that I thought would be really strong was this Sky Grasper unit. For whatever reason, nobody I was playing against really ran low units. Like most of the decks I played against were running like level 3s. So this unit did not come in handy. But if you are facing down a more aggro-focused deck, this could certainly help you out a lot. When destroyed, you get to choose one enemy unit that's level 2 or lower and return it to its owner's hand. That's very helpful. Moving on here, we talked about Stark Dragon, so I won't talk much more about that, but that's the 3/3. And then we do have 3/3 all around. Three level, 3 cost, 3 attack power, 3 HP. Getting into the blockers now, if you get blockers, definitely put those blockers in your deck. Blocker is such a strong keyword, especially in this format. It helps mess with your opponent's head. They don't know if you're going to block, if you're not going to block, and it gives you ways to defend against all-out frontal assault. So the blockers are crazy strong. Some people had that freedom blocker, which was crazy. Luckily, I did not lose to anyone playing that, but it was definitely scary with all those stats and the blocker. But these blockers are still really handy. At 2/4, this Gundam Lifrith is very strong. And then the even stronger blocker is the Launcher Strike Gundam at 3/4. I would have loved to have gotten some Earth Alliance trait pilots, but I did not. So I could not link him. Now, the fun little tech that I added into this deck, I wasn't really sure about it, but I was like, okay, command cards are probably going to be really good in this format because they're just good. I'm going to run a bunch of them. And it'd be really cool if I could actually pull off a combo where I can play this Gundam aerial with the lower cost. And every game, I think this unit came out every game with 4 or more command cards in my trash. So it's a great way. If you have a turn, you play a bunch of commands and you get this guy off for just 1 cost. It just feels so good. And he's a very handy unit to have around. So if you pull this one, I would definitely consider including it if you are going for a reasonably command heavy build for your deck. And then the last 2 cards, which again, I was a little bit nervous about including them. But those are the Justice Gundam, super strong, 7 level though, but only 5 cost. But when you play this guy, you get to deploy. Let's read at the details here. You get to deploy a token, 2 AP, 2 HP, and blocker. Holy cow. So you get a free blocker. And then during pair, again, you can pair this with any pilot. Choose one of your triple ship alliance. So that's going to be your token. Or unit tokens. Yeah, it says that in the description. It may attack on the turn it is deployed. So if you play him, pair him, you can then attack with your triple ship alliance. That's a very strong strategy. Definitely later in the game you could make use of that. So keep that in mind. I only got him out once, weirdly enough. I didn't draw him other than one time, but he almost was enough to help me win the game. The only game I didn't lose in the 4th round, where we were in the championship round, the only 2 undefeated. And he did come out, almost help me secure the win, but not quite. And then the guy that was the MVP by far of this deck, and you wouldn't think it, the Shamblo unit. I almost didn't want to put this guy in my deck with 8/7. I was like, when am I going to get this guy off? He does have the link. I did have a decent number of new types that I could link him with. But I was like, man, this guy's going to be really hard to get off. The craziest combo of the night was I was playing against a guy who I really thought I was done because he just was way ahead in shields. He was ahead in board presence. I had nothing on the field. But what I was able to do is I played this the turn before, and then the next turn, he was the only guy on the battlefield. And then, first of all, let's talk about his attack effect. So this is really what sets him apart. So if you link him, he becomes an 8/7 if you're linking him with your Lynx pilot. And then the really cool thing here is that he can, on attack, if you have 2 or more other rested friendly units, you can choose one enemy unit and deal 3 damage. So the really cool combo here is, again, I played him when I didn't really have other units, but then I could just play some units. I just played some units out, and then I played this Extreme Hatred. Extreme Hatred, you get to choose 2 of your active units, rest them. So now you're fulfilling that requirement of having 2 rested units. If you do, choose one enemy unit, deal 3 damage. So now you're doing 3 damage, 3 damage, 3 damage from this, 3 damage from the other guy, the other unit, the Shablo, and Shamblo. I feel bad for pronouncing my main boy's name wrongly, but Shamblo. So you're doing 3 damage from the Extreme Hatred. You're doing 3 damage from the effect of your Shamblo, and then you're also just destroying anything. Shamblo is taking out anything your opponent's facing, anything your opponent's fielding at that 8 attack point power, assuming he's linked. So that was the craziest combo. I actually came back and won that game while being extremely behind simply because of that powerful play. Another time I also got this play off by comboing Fortress Defense with Extreme Hatred. So you use Fortress Defense, you get 2 little tiny tokens, rest them with Extreme Hatred, deal that 3 damage, and then you can pull off this effect. So I think just having one of these guys with 30 cards, I'm not sure if that's enough to you could build your entire deck just around this guy, but definitely including the cards you need like this. I guess looking at this, I'm like, how much luckier could you get? I mean, getting this guy in the same deck as this command. I mean, no wonder I got second. But again, I was smart enough to throw them in, even though I don't think I saw that combo. When I built this deck, they just looked like cool cards. I don't think I saw that combo until I was actually under pressure. So that was definitely one of not to toot my own horn, but that was my favorite play of the night. So yeah, so that's pretty much everything. Every single battle was really tough. The first battle was the only one that was I just came out stronger, got better board presence, and won. The second battle was that one where I pulled off this crazy combo for the win. And then the third battle was just a slog. We were just duking it out. Neither one of us, I think part of the problem with that one is neither one of us wanted to commit to being aggressive. Or maybe it was more my opponent didn't want to commit to being aggressive, so I didn't really have a lot of attack targets because I play pretty aggressively. So I didn't really have a ton of attack targets. So that game got drawn out. He even got the Gundam Wing, what is it called? The Gundam Wing Zero, that 8 cost unit that does 3 damage to everybody. He even got him out. I had to take him out with a bunch of units. So that one went to time, and I did manage to sneak out the win in that one. And then the final round actually started really well for me. I got this guy out, the Duo's Leo out, and then I also got this guy out, the Gundam Leafwreath blocker. And what I did is my opponent only had 1 unit on the field with 3 HP, and so what I did is I hit him with the stealth stratagem, brought that small unit down to 1 HP, and then took him out with the Duo's Leo, and now all of a sudden I have the board dominance with the Gundam Leafwreath, and that actually really set me up nicely. The problem is, and I want to share this with you because it's something for you to look out for in your deck that's a little different. This is from the guy who got first, definitely a solid game player, card game player, and he, like me, had a bunch of strong links that he played into, but the real differentiator was this insane combo, and somehow this guy had at least 2 of these. I saw at least 2 of these during our battle. He may have even had more, and I actually pulled 1 of these. It's a pretty strong effect, so you get to choose one of your green units, and during this turn they may choose an active enemy unit with 4 or less AP as their attack target, and that's really good. I didn't really think that I probably would have the combos to make that work, but this guy went hard into this. He had this insane Shenlong Gundam. Holy cow, this guy is painful to go up against. 4/3 and breach 3. You play this guy, you give him that, choosing an active. He's destroying your unit before you can do anything with it, and then he's also doing 3 damage to your shield. So that is just that combo. And then it gets even worse because you even have this guy. Well, maybe not worse because at the breach, he had another breach character too that he was using. It was a little bit lower. I should probably find him, but I won't for now. But he had another breach. Maybe it was this guy. No. Well, I should have pulled him up, but he had another breaching unit. So keep in mind the breach can be really strong in this format. So yeah, look out for that. But really, the breach combined with this Rasid's Maganak is really strong. And then there's also this guy, and this guy was just scary, so I got rid of him pretty quickly with the repair 1. Looking back, I probably shouldn't have worried about him so much because he didn't have the breach, but this one really scared me with the repair 1 at 4/3, so I got rid of this one. But again, he was able to use that combo to let him attack, and then he's also healing himself. So that was why I lost the final battle. Despite that, I was able to kind of come back and still pressure him for an almost win. So it wasn't like I was out of the game entirely, but it was just enough in such a close matchup to really make it difficult to win. With all of that being said, the Gundam card game is clearly meant for big things. It's an incredibly fun game, easy to pick up, and I hope that video gives you a solid understanding of the kinds of things to look out for in your own Gundam card game launch event, whether it's for this booster or for the next one. And until next time, keep on battling.